So we're in a game within the game of a game of the Matrix in the Matrix of another Matrix. But we're no longer following Neo and Trinity. Now we're following Thomas and Tiffany. Okay. Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Tyra here with another struggle review, here to discuss Matrix Resurrection. Now this movie is from 2021, it stars Keanu Reeves, and it's available right now on HBO Max. Now before I get into a few things that I really did appreciate about this film, and many other things that I just know, I need you guys to drop down and subscribe to my channel and like this video. I'm going to give you guys a moment to do that, and then we're going to come back and discuss all things. You know, somewhere around that third installment of the trilogy, they decided to, take all these liberties and get really congested with the storytelling. But simplicity is good too. Simple shit works too. We don't always have to be in the Matrix of the Matrix with the Matrix of the Matrix. Sometimes we just want to be in one Matrix, just the first Matrix, one Matrix, the Neo Matrix, one.
Go back.
Now that you guys have hopefully subscribed to see more of me, let's get into this movie. Now before we jump into Matrix Resurrection, we have to spend a couple minutes on those first three movies. Now, by far my favorite, and I think probably everyone's favorite, is that first installment of The Matrix. It was so simplified, and that's something that I really loved about the movie. The stunt work was groundbreaking. The visuals were so fresh and new. The Matrix aesthetic at that point wasn't all watered down and getting duplicated all over the place in other action movies. And not only did we get to go on this really great story with Neo, Mr. Anderson, becoming the one, there was such great character building here. We cared about every single character, from Neo to Trinity to Morpheus, everybody on the crew. It was just so freaking good, and the story always had layers. Not only do we have Neo's journey to become the one, we have the information from the Oracle, we have the love story forming between Neo and Trinity, and we also have really good protagonists and multiple threats. Not only do we have those goddamn horrible machines, there are the agents, the main agent, Mr. Smith, we have Morpheus and their whole relationship and their dynamic, that support and faith and love that they have between each other, and that unbreaking faith that Morpheus has that Neo is the one. The stakes were always good and high all the way through the movie. It was so good. Then to top all of that off, we get some of the best anticipated action sequences that you would ever want to watch. We are so there, when Neo bends those walls and he gets it's so intense and so good and so action packed, and all the graphics, everything is top notch and A1. How can we possibly fuck that up? We get into part 2 and 3. Now, getting into that second and third installment, which came out in the same damn year, that should tell you all that you need to know. Of course, the second movie is not as worse as the third one, but it's not as good as the first one either. We're just not going to recapture that. But around this time, The Matrix was huge, and you can feel that they were really trying to capitalize on how big the franchise was, how much people were invested, and they were just shoving it out. Now, the second installment is not bad at all. I actually enjoyed the film. Is it as good as the first one? Of course not, but it's still good. But also around that second and third installment, the storyline got so goddamn congested. There was so much going on in the effort to make The Matrix so epic and make it, bigger than the last one. Like, they had to up the ante, but they congested the storyline to me so much. They added so many new dynamics, so many new goddamn characters that we were not invested in. The graphics just seemed to go from bad to worse. Like, it got absolutely laughable at how, Mr. Smith was regenerating and how the graphics looked, and it just looked like some bad computerized old PlayStation game. Like, it looked really bad. And the character arcs and everything that was going on, the things that were at stake, it really got fucking laughable, which led me to feel like The Matrix peaked with its first film. But did that mean that I wouldn't anticipate a fourth installment and think that from what we got in the first film, and especially that second one, those great relationships, the cool costumes, the cool graphics, the whole high-speed fighting, like all the action of it, does that mean that I wasn't going to anticipate a fourth film? You're damn right I anticipated this fourth film. Was this fourth film good? Now, first, I'd like to start with some of the things that I actually liked about the film. First, blew my whole mind that they were able to come here after that third film and make a pretty decent storyline. Like, I had no idea where this would go, and I wasn't too, I didn't feel too good after the third one, but they were really able to come here and piece everything back together to where, for the most part, everything pretty much made sense. And I thought that was pretty good, because that third installment is a hot ass mess. Now, coming off of that second and third installment, especially, towards the end when the graphics got real questionable, the graphics here, everything here looked really visually pleasing. This was a nice looking film. They took no shorts on the visual aesthetic. Everything looked crisp and clean. It looked up to date. It looked really good. The stunt work, the choreography with the fighting, though I would have liked a whole lot more, everything looked good here. I was really happy to see that. Also, the acting here is really good for the most part. It's always really amazing to me how our Keanu, Jada Pinkett, all of those people, Nairobi, Neo, Trinity, are able to fall back into their roles so easily, even though so much time has passed. I also love how progressive and modern the story feels. It feels really contemporary. It's really nice how they took, little cues here and there to make the story come a little bit forward. So many things have changed as far as, phones, internet, everything's, a little bit more accessible now. So it's only right that the story now kind of matched that vibe. I like that they took the time to update the story, and it doesn't still feel like, oh child, this is 1999. This would not fly. We not doing this. Who going to the payphone? They were sure to update those small things. And last but not least, I really appreciated all of the callbacks we got here. And we did get a lot. There were a lot of moments going on in the film for you to go, I remember that. I know what that is. That's very reminiscent of this. I appreciated the attention to detail. Now to get into my cons. And this might not be a con for you. I don't know what kind of watcher you are, but I feel like I should not be doing trigonometry to figure out what's going on in this goddamn story. I love that first film so much solely for its simplicity. It was, a lot going on, and the story was really interesting and it was layered, but bottom line, we knew what the journey was. We knew what the end game was the entire time. We knew what was going on in the story the entire time, and it was so simple, so easy, so much action. Like, it was good. Here, I feel like they were going out of their way to, come back with a big bang with so much time passing, and this is part 4, and we have to, it was like, I just spent a lot of time. What? Huh? It was just a little too much of that. And I felt like with us doing that, them investing so much time and, the Matrix and the Matrix of the Matrix, and I'm a gamer. No, I'm not a gamer. No, I'm in therapy. No, I'm not, like, that subtracted so much from the story, with them trying to have that confusing Matrix atmosphere, you know, to only have Neo pulled out and have him realize, you know, no, you've been in the Matrix this entire time. This is real. This is, you know, something that's being implanted in your brain, being fed to you. We lost so much of the story. I kept waiting like for the bang to start. I got a little bored. I got a little bored because it was just like, you know, how long are we going to stay here? How long are we going to have to convince Neo that, you know, we had so many moments of, oh my God, no, this isn't real. This is a dream. I felt like it went on too long. Now, with the callbacks from the first installments, we kind of knew, well, I knew in the very beginning that the whole gamer, he's in therapy, he's, you know, going to talk to the boss. And, you know, we had little cues of him eating the steaks, a whole lot of references from what was the Matrix in that first film for us to know that it was the Matrix. So I felt like we spent so much time there when we didn't have to. Now, also getting into Keanu Reeves as Neo here, though the acting was good, at times, hopefully it wasn't just me, I felt like we were just getting John Wick. You know, Neo has this aura about himself. Keanu is just, you know, cool, mellow, he just has this thing. He has this Keanu thing that he does. But here, I just felt like there wasn't much effort to really give us that Neo character and really bring it home. It just felt a little empty at times, and it felt like we were kind of getting John Wick leftovers. And the haircut and the beard didn't contribute much to that. Now, speaking of characters not giving their all, let's get into Yahya Abdul-Mateen II as Morpheus. Now, I was a little confused at first, but, you know, once we actually got to who he actually was and him being kind of a digital backup reincarnation of Morpheus through Neo, and he's not, you know, replacing Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus. First of all, there's just going to be comparison off the rip. I kind of wish that they didn't even put that there. I do kind of feel like, you know, they were kind of trying to pay homage, and, you know, it just wouldn't be a Matrix movie without Morpheus there. But I would have preferred, you know, that statue, you know, I'm sorry, Morpheus that we got versus the character that we got here. The comparison is just going to happen, and of course it is just absolutely not the same. I did not appreciate at all the little tongue-in-cheek, you know, I know you, Neo, the little callbacks, you know, the red and blue pill, him kind of poking fun with the other movies playing in the background, and him getting to, I just did not, the suits, the ball, it was like he was phoning in that performance. I don't know if anybody's seen The Watchmen, the series, where he's Dr. Manhattan. It was totally giving leftover as Dr. Manhattan. And it just was so unfulfilling, and I couldn't help but compare his performance as Morpheus to the one that we know and love. Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus carries so much weight in the franchise. He is just as important to the movie as Neo. And like we've gotten some epic scenes, you know, stop trying to hit me and hit me, like he is just so commanding. So to get this guy here who's not Morpheus, but he is Morpheus, and he's just kind of giving this whack ass performance, it was really disappointing. No, you can't ask me not to compare the two and not consider this, you know, that old Morpheus, but then you have us replay, you know, the pill situation, the fighting, and, you know, the whole Japanese style, and he has the whole rope, like, you can't do that. You just can't. Like, I just felt like they should have had a brand new, like, just start over. Don't touch Morpheus. Morpheus is fucking Lawrence Fishburne. Leave it alone. Speaking of the characters, I really wish that I really just gave any fucks about any other characters besides Trinity and Neo. It just was not there. I found myself not caring about anybody else. I wasn't invested. Like the little like the character who was supposed to be our Zeke, I rooted so fucking hard for Zeke in those past movies. Like, everybody was just here to kind of replicate what we've seen before, but they really didn't really pack anything. Speaking of people not packing anything, let's get into the agents and Mr. Smith. Mr. Anderson. Mr. Smith has been such a good villain. Even when, they decided to multiply him 1,000,000 times and went all the way overboard with his character, he has been a really good villain to the franchise thus far. Along, with Morpheus and that character change there, we also have a new actor here portraying, our Mr. Smith. Nothing close to it. It was just like close for, but no cigar. Like, it just was not happening. It wasn't believable. You can't give me steak and then give me a pork chop. It is just not working. He was really trying, and he was trying to give us, some of those same vibes and energy. But Mr. Smith just has this fucking sinister ass energy about himself, and it takes a lot to recapture that. And not only do we, not recapture it, we don't have the same actor here. So much time has went by. But all the more reason not to give us those same things. Like, give this man his own identity. He didn't have to be, Mr. Smith, this ex-agent who's been under, because he really didn't add a whole lot to the film, honey. They wanted to give us, this whole little rematch scene. But at the end of the day, it didn't amount to much. The Morpheus portrayal and the Mr. Smith portrayal could have been whole new actors, whole new identities. They didn't have to be a anything of people that we love. Now, speaking of the agents, Mr. Smith, I really miss their presence in this film. Of course, we have them replaced here with bots now who just look like your everyday people, and they transform, and we get, the digital Matrix eyes. I miss them though. Like, it just seems like there was something missing. The agents carry, this invincible type of weight with them. And it's not just because, they can regenerate and they can be anywhere at any time. That uniform, Men in Black suit, menacing thing that they have, that group thing, that stealth, it makes a difference. The bots here, I don't know if it was just me, it couldn't have been. They were fucking giving zombies. A lot of their little activity here, especially when we get towards the end of the film, it turned into fucking World War Z. Once we have them leaping out of windows, I was like, what the fuck is going on? I absolutely did not like that aspect. Give me an agent in a suit with his little string. Yeah, the niggas here, come get him. Give me that anytime. I do not want to watch Zombieland. And lastly, getting into the stakes for this film. Everything is normally so high. You are so invested, and you have, so many things coming at you. I feel like they were subtracted here. We do have the Nairobi, Miss Old Grandma Nairobi here, who is, trying to stop everything. I don't want you to mess up what we built here. We have peace with the bots. You're doing this. This is, bad for us. We have her there kind of, being that stiff council general now, and the other character kind of replacing her as that rogue one going to take the ship, being disobedient. That was okay. But I just didn't really feel like, of course, the bots, the machines were a really, really big threat here. Our main villain here is in the form of Neil Patrick Harris. Absolutely unbelievable. Really funny. Like, I just didn't buy him as our villain. Of course, he has, some really good dialogue here, and the whole feelings and love, and, I'm using this against them, and, puppeteering Trinity and Neo for the entire movie. The stakes were just not there. I found myself not giving a damn. Like, I kept checking the time on this movie to see how much time we had and where we were in the story, and often I felt like we were nowhere. They spent so much time trying to build up this new Matrix, this new world, the new aspects of, where we could get and who he is now. We lost so much. Where was the action? Where was the story? We already lost a lot here. I used to love them running, busting in the room, searching for fucking phones. I love that. We lost some of that. Whatever. We lost that. We don't have, those scary ass agents popping up out of nowhere. Like, it just, it's not there. We don't have that really great relationship between Neo and Morpheus. It's not there. All of that is lacking. Them choosing to solely focus on the love aspect between Trinity and Neo was just, it was in poor taste to me. Not that I don't care about their relationship and what they go through, and you know, their love has been an infinite, just through every single movie. Like, you know that's gonna be there. You know that they're gonna have a situation, and we're gonna get some dramatic whisper. We're gonna get that. We're gonna get those whispers, and we're gonna get their love. I don't want that for a whole movie. I don't want him, like, they tried to flip it here to where kind of Trinity was the one. It was kind of mainly focusing on her, where he was replaced with having to go in and save her, and he couldn't fly, and you know, it was just, you know, I felt like it was more so, oh no, it's no longer about, like, Trinity's the one. This is about Trinity. I didn't like it. I did not like it. I didn't care one bit in the least. Does it work when we have all the other elements of what goes on in the Matrix, all the other really great stunt work and fight scenes, character building, Neo and Morpheus relationship, those goddamn agents, those double-crossing ass people who happen to be in your crew who trying to take you out, and then you throw in their love story? Yeah, I don't want a whole 2-hour movie surrounding that. Get that shit out of my face. No, and it just didn't go. It just did not go. I literally was checking. It was like, oh, so we got 30 minutes. So, I was like, oh, so this is it. This is it. I just always felt like we were going somewhere from here, and I thought that about 3 times, and we didn't go anywhere. And I honestly fell asleep. I woke back up though to give y'all this review. Well, you guys, those were my pros and cons pretty much for The Matrix Resurrection. As you can see, I did think that this was a pretty decent film. Am I, overwhelmed that I think it was, really, really good? I absolutely didn't. I feel like a lot of opportunities were missed here, and I felt like this could have been a bigger story. For like the first time ever, The Matrix just really felt really fucking small and really reduced. What they did do with it visually is like, it's very stunning, but everything else, no, I wasn't here for it. It was missing something. It was missing a lot. But you guys drop down and tell me how you felt about the movie. Did you think it was good? Do you have some of the same sentiments that I do? Drop down and get that conversation going in the comments. I appreciate you guys for watching. I see you next time. Bye.